I love that idea of energize the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good
Our
wording.
first system that we usually teach is COPE: collect, organize, prioritize, energize. So you want to collect, organize, prioritize those relationships, see which ones are the ones you want to invest in. And then that action step is, okay, how do I start energizing these people to want to refer me business, to like write a testimonial, right? Like all of those things, we need to energize our people.
Welcome to Spaghetti on the Wall, where we throw ideas, see what sticks, and nurture those that do. I'm your host, Armando, an actor, entrepreneur, and coach, giving you insights that light up your world. We're here to explore the realms of business, marketing, and life, serving up a shot of inspiration with every episode. Ready to make ideas stick and grow them into something great? Let's dive in. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you are consuming this podcast. Spaghetti on the Wall is back with another one. Sara Hardwick is in the house.
Woo!
Yeah. It's morning time. This is my time. I love morning times. I love it. You know, people are like, oh, back in the day, the 20s, it was nighttime. But now it's morning time for me.
Well, hey, if someone's listening this morning and they have that intro coming through their car or phone with that music, I feel like that's a good start to their day.
Thank you. I try to keep it up and fast moving and energized.
Yeah.
So, Sara works with the company Giftology.
Yes.
And we're talking about relationships. We're talking about how Giftology has sort of evolved from gifting, but it's all relationship. And if you listen to this show, you guys know that it's all about that for us here. We definitely build everything on relationships. And so with that, I know it's 2 minutes, but give me a little backstory on how you got to where you got.
Oh.
Don't worry that it stays to 2 minutes. Just a little bio.
All good. Well, you brought up relationships, and that really is the backbone and the foundation of how I am here today, and how I started my career here at Giftology. While I was in college at the University of North Carolina, went to a little silly career seminar, and they tell you all these fun exercises to do. And one of the exercises was just Google something you feel like you're really good at and then put the word company behind it. So I was like, I don't know, math, I'm good at math, I'm good at this. And my best friend was next to me, my best friend Chloe, and she goes, you're such a good gift giver. Why don't you just Google that? It's a silly exercise. So I Googled gift giving companies. Giftology came up. I bought LinkedIn Premium for $35 a month. I waited till John Rulin's little green light came on, so I knew he was online. And I messaged the co-founder of our company, John Rulin, and the rest is history. I've then worked through college here at Giftology, and now have a full-time role here helping us grow our education and training, and ultimately how to build good relationships, genuine relationships, and do that operationally and efficiently.
I love it.
It's a fun story.
So yeah, that's really cool. So talk to me about what is the methodology? How did you guys come up with the methodology on creating relationships, and how does that turn into joint ventures and referral partnerships and turning it into business?
Yeah, I think it's really that, John had recognized this years ago, that relationships are the heart of all businesses. But I think with all of the SEO and traditional marketing and social media and influencing, the world started to get away from that a little bit. And I think now we are really seeing the pendulum swing back of relationships are still so important to your business, especially if you're a small business owner, a service professional, a solopreneur, a sales professional, right? Having that human-to-human connection with your clients, your network, your referral partners is so important. And I think we stand out in that regard from a sales or marketing philosophy of No, just get back to the root of people. We don't need all these fancy websites and fancy social posts and fancy traditional marketing. We just need to get back to relationships. And our kind of like sum up tagline there is that relationships can take you places traditional marketing can't. We believe that so wholeheartedly. And I think a lot of people are starting to come back around to that as well.
So maybe take me through it. Maybe it's a little bit more tactical, because I would love for people to listen to this and go, oh, this is something that I can take away. Obviously, read the book Giftology if you guys haven't, because it's just we use Giftology all the time in terms of how do we really get into the door. I actually do you know Joey Coleman?
Yes, and I know that may have been the beginning of the introduction to John as well.
So what happened was, I had read Giftology first because a friend of mine owns a company called The Basket Tree.
Okay.
And so we use her to put a little gift bag together, and then she sends it off for us. So, but Joey Coleman's book, Never Lose a Customer Again, we took that concept and we go, okay, at every single point of the customer journey, how are we making it a wow experience or a fun experience? And so we came up with this direct mail piece that's a little box, and it's branded Leduc Entertainment. We open it up, and inside there are two gumballs, a red one and a blue one. And there's a landing page. There's a QR code that sends them to a landing page, and it's a video of me as like Morpheus in the Matrix, where I'm like, your marketing is is under attack, and blah 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 blah. So that's just been such a differentiator for us. Those direct mail pieces lead to those openings, and it's like, all right, well, let's have a conversation. So are you guys taking like a business like me and going, okay, let's do a little deep dive, let's figure out who you guys need to connect with? What's that sort of methodology like?
Yeah, I think your call out of who you need to connect with is always the first step. Like, let's actually get strategic about who are those relationships in your orbit that you need to spend a little bit more time, money, energy in investing in. That could be past clients, past podcast guests, right? That could be just people in your community that maybe could be really good network sources for you. And ultimately, where we've really landed on people who can truly change your business, they are referral partners. So building that list of who do you want to focus on? And then it's actually being able to operationalize and create systems around how you are going to energize these relationships. So the gifting part is, of course, our premier way, I guess you could say, of doing that. It absolutely strikes a chord with a lot of people, and you're able to show up for them in a really meaningful, uncommon way. But I think especially with referral partners specifically, if those are the people that you're looking to engage with, referrals are a goal in your business, and those are your who. To energize those relationships, there's a lot of strategic communication that needs to happen. And we don't like the transactional, again, like traditional ask, like nag, follow up again, ask for a referral. We want to strategically sit down with our referral partners, build a relationship with them, see if we can create a win-win scenario, and then, of course, create meaningful moments for them with gifting, handwritten notes, a bunch of other ways so that you stay top of memory. Like, we want you to be able to be the first person they think about when they walk down the street and see your potential client, right? And I think that's just the constant touches and being able to ultimately operationalize those so they don't slip through the cracks.
Are you guys automating these touch points?
Great question. So we do have an agency, a gifting agency, that if someone were to give us a list of relationships, we would actually take those relationships and do the gifting strategy for you. All the logistics taken care of, handwritten notes, all of the things, which I think is such a heavy lift off of a lot of people's plate. But I think a lot of small business owners, service professionals, they just need these systems to be able to run in-house. And so we have created those systems in checklist form with a course, with a community, with coaching that allows them to be able to do it themselves And I think honestly, learning the DIY way is also really helpful, especially if you have a team with you, you have an assistant, someone that can energize relationships on your behalf. We can teach them exactly how to run those systems in-house.
I love that idea of energize the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good
Our
wording.
first system that we usually teach is COPE: collect, organize, prioritize, energize. So you want to collect, organize, prioritize those relationships, see which ones are the ones you want to invest in. And then that action step is, okay, how do I start energizing these people to want to refer me business, to like write a testimonial, right? Like all of those things, we need to energize our people.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
How do you, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, it just feels so contrived. It feels so, sort of not genuine because you're like planning it all out, right? So talk a little bit about that, and how, how you're sort of changing the paradigm or changing people's paradigm on that specifically, because it might feel like not necessarily a bait and switch, but it's this sort of thing where I'm like, oh, I'm just like I'm giving, to
Yeah.
get, right?
Totally. And that is not what we want. That is not our intention with this. The first thing that we always tell people is like, if that is your intention going into it, if that is your heart posture, it's not going to work. People can see through that. Like people have been able to see through that since the beginning of time, right? Like you're just doing something nice for me to get something in return. You need to go into it with the true heart posture of like, I'm giving genuinely. Sure, this could be a mechanism to encourage our relationship and energize our relationship. But if you never gave me a client in return, like I'm not going to be upset that I spent $100, $200 on you. And I think really
Yeah.
having that heart posture is important. I think the planning piece that you just brought up of like maybe that feels a little weird to people. John always positioned it as planned randomness, which I think we do have to plan these things in our business. The reason why a lot of businesses don't do them is because they don't get planned. But there's still a way to show up and create that like surprise and delight in a way. And that's that planned randomness. So being able to like not send a gift just on holidays and birthdays, like send it on a random Tuesday to their house when they're having a busy day with their kids and they open it and they're like, wow, Armando's like the best, right? So that type of planned randomness, I think, is actually really beneficial and doesn't come off as maybe some of the bribey or some of those other objections that we receive.
I love your verbiage. Is this like internal verbiage? Did you come up with
No,
this?
that's the genius brain of our amazing guy, John Rulin. He
Because some people say top of mind,
Yeah.
but y'all say top of memory.
Yes, top of memory. Planned randomness is in the book Giftology, so that's definitely like a piece of that. Surprise and delight is also something that he always used to talk about. Like it, if you are gifting as a mechanism to, create better relationships, you showing up on Christmas in a pile of other gifts that everyone else sends isn't going to surprise and delight somebody. They're expecting a gift at that time. So the planned randomness is the way to go.
And let's talk about some of the stories
Yeah.
of people that you guys have put through the methodology and what sort of results that they've gotten as a result of working with you guys.
Yeah. We have an amazing coach inside of our community, Rich Relationship Society, Brian McCrae, who has built his business completely on referrals and now is coaching our community to do the same. Like no external marketing, no traditional marketing, truly all relationships. And he started it by literally picking up the phone and calling individuals and just having a conversation of, can you help? What's the way I can help you? And just being like an active listener and adding value into relationships. I think like that is typically the first step. Like we are so quick to just ask questions and move on to the next one. But a lot of times people share things with us. We call it surveillance. Like we need to, actually create that active surveillance and then act on what they told us. Like, okay, you said that you are really looking for an assistant right now. Maybe I have someone. And he created his whole business on, okay, I will give referrals, I will give value, I will have these conversations, and ultimately, like, the law of reciprocity is real and it will come back. So he is like the ultimate example, poster child of our system, because now he's the coach of it. And he teaches other people in our community to do the same. Just be intentional with your relationships, be intentional with how you ask for referrals, and they will come.
That's awesome. Do you know a specific, I love, like, a story where it's all like, so there was this one time where this person was, do you know a specific story
Yeah.
of one relationship?
Yeah. Well, we have a long time community member named Anita Toth. She's amazing. If she's listening to this, Anita, we love you. But she, over the past couple years, she's a small business owner, service professional. She's been changing her business over the past couple years and really trying to focus in on her value proposition, and who are going to be those clients, who are going to be those referral partners. And she has actually decided that through our system of reaching out to your network, seeing who can be referral partners for you, reaching out to shoulder industries, so individuals that may touch the same clients as you and then be able to bring leads into your business, that has been so much more fruitful for her than the typical cold LinkedIn DMs, cold emails, networking events, that she has done like a full 180 cold turkey and is like, I'm going to focus on referral partner transformation. I am going to focus on rich, and this is going to be my main way of outreach. It's not cold outreach, it's warm outreach, because these are relationships that either you already know or someone else already knows. And I think from a confidence perspective, that has given her so much energy and confidence to go into this next chapter of her business, realizing hey, I know people. I just need to energize them in the right way.
What did you just call shoulder? What?
Shoulder industries.
Shoulder industry. Is this another verb?
Yeah, this is another.
Verbiage?
Yeah, I'm giving you guys the vocabulary, our little dictionary here.
Shoulder. One more time.
Shoulder industries. So basically,
shoulder industries, and this is just people that are in the same industry that may not that don't do what you do or may do what you do, that could refer you business.
Exactly. But we really like to, take a moment and think, brainstorm creative ones. I always give the example of real estate agents. Obviously the obvious shoulder industry is mortgage brokers, right? And that's typically, as far as a lot of small business owners, service professionals go, they're the one removed. But I sat down with someone who was trying to sell bourbon the other day. He's breaking into a luxury bourbon market. And I was like, let's brainstorm some shoulder industries that you can start developing relationships in. One, how about you see if you can create a relationship with a local luxury golf course that maybe the food and beverage manager, you can build a relationship with him. And that could open the door to people there that likely have the means and the interest to buy bourbon from you, right? Or maybe there's, in my town, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, so big city, we have a lot of boutique, really beautiful, wine stores that have wine clubs. I'm sure maybe if the wife likes wine, maybe the husband likes bourbon, and you can build a relationship with that owner of that store. So being creative about who those shoulder industry partners are, I think could be really, really beneficial for people to just sit down, brainstorm, and then see if you might know those people already. It's just taking that first step.
What does that look like brainstorming wise? How long does that take? What's, and I mean, obviously it's it probably will come to you as you're thinking about it, but
yeah,
you're helping these people with it. So where are you guys finding the research?
Yeah.
How are you guys doing that?
Yeah. Most of the time it really, if I'm doing it live with people, it's kind of just that live back and forth of first of all, who are you looking to touch? Who is your ideal client? And then where else do they go for their services? Where else do they go to shop? Who else in other industries touches that same clientele that may be a good referral partner for you and already have a relationship with your ideal client. But if they're not doing it live with me, we do actually have in our course, in our referral partner transformation course, we have a spreadsheet that they can use to brainstorm these shoulder industries that also has a whole list of ChatGPT prompts that can allow AI to help you with that brainstorming. So being able to just like, I mean, we've done this for a chiropractor, for example, and like some of the things they pulled up was like doulas, like moms postpartum, right? Like a lot of times a chiropractor is of need, or even during pregnancy, but that's not something we think of on our own. Like ChatGPT did that, and we were very proud of our prompts to get it there. But those systems of the prompts, being able to, dive into a community with me and other community members to brainstorm can really help build out your shoulder industry list.
I love that. So you figure out the list, you create it, and then you're on your way.
Yes.
So how are you, what's the first contact?
Yeah. First step is starting to reach out to these people. We created our communication strategy around the fact that we believe you need to date your referral partners a little bit. So we call it the 3-date system. Like if this person is going to be somebody who goes out into the world and talks highly about you and refers you business, like you kind of need to romance them a little bit, right? So starting to strategically communicate with them and reach out in a way that's not takerish, like we are genuinely reaching out, checking up on these relationships, seeing how we can add value. And we're doing all of those things naturally before we ever even talk, ask anything about referrals. The second step of that process is we don't like to just outright traditionally ask for referrals. We have something called the green light question that is just like awesome. And it allows people to get into a referral conversation rather than like, hey, do you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell real estate, right? And then you like walk away awkwardly and they never end up referring you business. This inputs you into a conversation that's like a value-based win-win conversation with the other individual to see how y'all can help each other.
And this is so valuable because these days we're so disconnected with texting and email and social media, and like people are like just missing the human connection. And if they just double down on that, life is better. Human connection is just going to help, not just in business, but just like the quality of life.
Totally. And I think the point of like, text, email, all these things, like I get it. We need those things in our business. That's how we communicate with clients. That's how we communicate with referral partners. But how can you show up differently in a way that like energizes the relationship better? For example, I always send videos. Armando, I emailed you a video, a little link, a Loom video of, hey, I'm so excited to come on the podcast, right? Like that is a way, like imagine if you sent a video to a client before you guys had a meeting. Or imagine if instead of sending a long, lengthy email to a client on a Friday, like you pop in with an energetic voice and send a voice memo. Like those ways build a relationship so much better. But you're still using like the means of our savvy technological world, right? It's just how do you use those to your advantage to build a relationship?
Yeah, I was turned on to this little nugget that I'm going to share on the podcast right now. But guy that's in my mastermind uses a AI called Perplexity.
Okay.
It's a little different than ChatGPT, but it like in real time can get information from all of like your social media, your websites, all of that. And you can put it in there, say, hey, I'm about to meet Sarah. Can you give me like some talking points based on like her online presence on what she likes, what she doesn't like, blah, 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 blah. So, so now you can come in with a video saying, hey, was looking you up, saw that you were into barbershop singing. That's awesome. Me too, or whatever.
Yeah.
Look forward to the call.
Exactly. And see, like, these are things that we've all known since the beginning, like, do your research about somebody before you get on a call, look at their LinkedIn, all the things. But I love that call out of that new software, because what's interesting about that, it seems like maybe it dives a little bit deeper into who they are as a person rather than just who they are as a professional. And I think that's really the goal of what we teach. Like that surveillance piece that I mentioned earlier, when someone gets on a call and they're like, sorry, my kids are really loud in the background. Like that's your opportunity to be like, what's your kids' names? How old are they? Like learn stuff about their personal life so that you can show up in a way that's really awesome, surprise and delight, plan randomness, like down the line. And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that Sara was asking me those questions at that moment and like learned my kids' names. But you create that wow moment later.
I love it. So how do people work with you guys?
Yeah. If you are a small business owner, service professional, sales professional, and you want these systems to run inside of your business, we do have a community platform and course and coaching called RICH, Reciprocal, Influential, Connected, Humble, quick little acronym, that people can get plugged into and actually work with us and other business leaders that are aiming to do the same thing, get referrals, grow their relationships. And you can go to kind of get started, and we have a 4-email mini course that will help you get started. giftologygroup.com/RWA. But the other way to work with us, if you are someone that's like, I just need someone to take care of my gifting, we also have that available, and you'll also see that on the website. So that is something that we'd love to help you with too.
That's awesome. Sara, so valuable. Glad you guys are continuing the work. It's an amazing thing that you guys are doing, and love you being here.
Thank you so much. We're so grateful for you, Armando, and grateful that we're able to carry on John's legacy in this way.
100%. And that was Spaghetti on the Wall, brought to you by Leduc Entertainment. For all of your video production needs, podcasts, video business cards, customer journey, you know the deal. And if you guys want to keep watching, keep listening, you can catch us anywhere. You're probably listening to it right now. So keep listening, keep watching, and we'll see y'all next week.